Hello, Kais. Good evening. How are you?
Good evening there. I'm doing great. How about you?
One moment, please.
Hello, hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great. It's a beautiful background.
Thank you.
So, also a shining smile. So I don't know whether the light is coming from you or from your background.
It's from the sunset, obviously. Oh. How's your day been?
Everything is okay. So we shall begin in 2 minutes from now. I welcome everybody. My friend Nader is here, Najwa, Angela, Sebastian, Najit, Bravo.
Yes. Yes.
Jenna and Diana. So we wait a little bit for the others to join us, and then we shall start.
Sounds good. Yes.
How do you feel?
Very good, actually. Very good. I've actually had my second jab today, so it's still here.
Oh, and it does.
Yeah. Second jab today, so people say that you feel XYZ, whatever, but actually I'm fine, I'm fine.
Right. So mind over matter. So it's all in our head. So it depends on how we think about it, how we see it.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to doing the emceeing for Nader as well later.
Yeah.
So somebody working with me has also logged in as me. I'll just let them know they can rename themselves.
So Avni, whenever you're ready.
Okay, I'm ready when you are actually.
Okay, so let's get started. So welcome everyone to the third day of our summit. So today we'll keep going with our wonderful speakers with the interesting topics they are bringing to the table. So I'm really so pleased to have you all here. Let me start by introducing our guest speaker for the first webinar, Avni Martin. Avni, she's an ICF PCC coach, board member of the ICF Singapore chapter, the director of training and coaching in Martin Consulting and Coaching Solutions. And I've been in many webinars before with Avni, and this is what really shows up. This is what I can really, if I can summarize some of the wonderful things you get, actually you take with you whenever you attend one of Avni's events and webinars. So it's I can sum up that in 3 words, but I know it goes beyond that. But for me, it's these things. So this is my, I think my premise for today. It's first depth. So Avni, whenever you're with Avni, so she's really going so deep. So I'm expecting that for today we'll see will go so deep and talk about a lot of emotions, a lot of things related to our values, our belief system. And the second thing, the second word that pops up for me, it's wisdom. So I think that will get away with a lot of wisdom, a lot of insights from this webinar. And the third thing, and the thing that I cherish a lot, it's connection. So I believe that today will get that high level of connection with Avni. Avni will be providing the space for us to really get connected to her thoughts, feelings, and beautiful soul. So please help me in welcoming Avni. Avni, you're so welcome, and we're really honored to have you among us today. The floor is yours.
Thank you very, very much, Kais, for that very, very sweet and kind introduction. Just for a little bit of housekeeping, can everyone please mute yourselves, and maybe you can help Carol be our co-host. Carol maybe can help us mute people. She works with me. So I would absolutely love to see everyone's faces here. You know, we are all disconnected through this COVID environment. We don't see each other. So, you know, let's see your eyes, everyone. Where are you all? You know, so no matter where you are, if you can turn on your cameras, please do. Okay, so who's got their cameras on? We've got Johnny, Bala, Carol, Debbie. Hello, Debbie. How are you? Hi. So thank you all for being with us here today. So first of all, I'd like to start by asking you, how are you all this evening? So please just write in the chat box, how are you? Just one word. And where are you from? So where are you dialing in from? Is it morning for you, afternoon for you, evening for you? Hi, Paravat, nice to see you. Lovely to see faces. But no pressure. If you have to keep your camera off, please do. It's absolutely fine. So let's see what's after dinner in Singapore. Okay. Afternoon from Dubai, Singapore, Dubai, Netherlands. Welcome. Welcome to Bala from Netherlands. Thank you very much. Okay, we have Tunisia. Okay, great. So we have quite a few countries pouring in, and I'm sure a few others might join us a little bit later. So we have heard from some absolutely wonderful speakers over the last couple of days about trust and e-leadership, which is a topic, and trust is, of course, a topic as big as a universe. And we have reflected on many faces, dimensions, and depth of it. And each one is offering us a new perspective. And as we did this, I'm wondering, how many of you noticed just how often the word self-trust or trusting yourself came up? Because I noticed that it was mentioned multiple times. Did you also notice that? Yeah, we all noticed that, right? And so, and one of the questions that was asked, and I think, Kaisa, if I'm not wrong, you might have mentioned this question as to, and I am paraphrasing you here, but what is self-trust really? And what happens when we don't have it? Right? I think some people went to that place, that what actually happens when that self-trust is not existing? What then happens? And how can we really develop this? And so this is one of the key areas of our focus here today. But before we go further, I really want to share an analogy with you. When we speak of trust, we have heard of two primary forms. First is the trust that we have with others, which is so precious, important, and yet fragile. So if you can imagine, trust is like us holding a precious crystal between us as we go through the dance of life, one that is so fragile that it needs to be handled with care. It's so easy to break at a mere slip of a foot, a step on the toe as we dance together in life, or even a simple misunderstanding. So I'd like to ask you, how many of us here have experienced that kind of trust, which is precious yet fragile? So please type in the chat box, yes, if you have experienced the kind of trust that is precious and yet fragile. And also type yes in the chat to share how many have developed or how many have had the experience of trust being broken. So we have a lot of yeses coming in, and of course we do, right? Because this trust is fragile, it does get broken. And next, I'd like to ask you that how many of you have had the experience where this trust is broken between people, but through absolutely no fault of anyone? It just happens because we are all dancing in life with our blind spots on. Because there is one thing that we all are, which is that we are imperfect beings. Yeah, so many of you are saying that yes to both questions. Yeah. So we are mostly all coaches here. So what do you all notice right now about the quality of trust that we have shared here so far? What are you noticing? Perhaps put it in one word. The quality of trust that we talked about here. The trust that's like a fragile crystal that we are dancing together. What are you noticing about it? Its quality. It has cracks, yes. And it's peaceful, okay? Yeah? You're feeling peaceful, Kais, right now?
Yeah, that's exactly
Nice.
right.
That's great. Oh, the trust is peaceful. Which one is it, Kais?
Sorry again, Avni, please.
So my question is, what are your thoughts about this trust? What are your thoughts about the quality of this trust that we are talking about? The trust that's like a crystal that we're carrying together between our hands, okay? That we are dancing in life with all of our blind spots.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, my first thought when talking about trust is that trust really, it's the gate for us, or the window for us to express ourselves. So if we don't trust ourselves, so we kind of deprive the world from discovering or getting the opportunity to know who we are and what we can offer to the world. So I think that each one of us has this potential to do something for himself and for the others. And the first step to do that is to trust himself.
Yes, exactly. And that's exactly what I mean. This thing about trusting themselves, you know, it keeps coming back all the time. So what I notice about the trust, the kind of trust that we hold between two people, this crystal, is that it's very precious, of course. You know, life doesn't exist without it. It's very precious. And yet it's fragile because it is a crystal after all. And so today I would like to share one of the most incredibly transformational moments of my life with you. The moment where I got to the heart and the soul of trust for me to transform this crystal that we have into an unbreakable diamond. So that's what I'd like to share with you today. And in this process, I hope that you may be able to see yourself in me and that I will see myself in you as we share together. So my journey with self-trust began in class as I was learning to become an inner child integration therapist. And as some of you may know, it's a very powerful 2-year-long course that teaches us highly effective techniques to deal with any kind of painful experience that we may encounter within ourselves or others. So my teacher, a highly experienced 85-year-old pioneer in this modality, who's worked with all kinds of unthinkable trauma in humans, from Italian mafias to Japanese war veterans, from the most abused children to the abusers of the children, to help them all resolve the shadows and become one with their own light. Her name is Patricia, but we call her Trisha. And as you will expect in a course like this, that there is nowhere to hide. There is no hiding place from even the faintest shadows we see within ourselves. Okay, it's one of those courses that just digs deep, 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 deep. There is no escaping that, no matter how hard we try. So, of course, I spent 2 whole years deeply introspecting and working on myself with a magnifying glass, looking at every part of my childhood. And those that know me well, who know a little bit more about my past and my history, know why I had a lot of work to do there. And so I did. And I transformed generational cycles of pain that I felt within myself and turned it into a deep place of peace. So one fine day, towards the end of our program, seeing everyone's deep transformational journeys in class, Trisha, our wise 85-year-old teacher, asks everyone that where are you today in your journey of inner transformation? And what changes are you noticing within you and around you? So everyone starts to answer. And when it's my turn, I shared that I've been thinking about this a lot. And I feel so deeply, deeply grateful, Trisha, to you, to Pooja, who's the person holding the space, and Shirley, who's a partner of Pooja, for holding the space for all of us here to deal with our shadows and find our light. And truly, I would have never expected what I feel deep inside and what I have today present in my life. And what I'm noticing, Trisha, is basically a lot of peace, deep inner Zen-like peace. And yes, it takes some work when I notice moments where I don't have this, but now I'm able to bring that back, bring back that deep inner peace with a flick of a switch, just like that, with all the tools and techniques that I've learned from you with Reiki and Silva meditation. So it's been wonderful, and thank you so much. Okay, so I share this with my teacher, okay? So of course, with that shared, I'm now expecting my teacher to feel proud and pleased to hear how far I've come and what I've accomplished, right? But no, to my utter surprise, instead of acknowledging me, my teacher asks me another question. She says, and I don't know how she picked up on this, Avni, just before you flick that switch to become peaceful, who are you? What do you see? I was like so confused with the question. I was full of joy and happiness to share that I found my Zen. that the question, quite honestly, just didn't sit well with me. Okay, I was just like, I'm not answering that question, you know. So I said, what? Who am I in that moment? I'm me. I'm Avni, and I'm feeling great, the best I've ever felt in my whole life. And thank you. So Trisha asks again, Avni, who are you in that moment before you bring on the piece? So the teacher is looking at me intently with silence. So I took another deep breath, feeling quite confused, wading through 1,001 thoughts speeding past my mind and wondering where this question is going. Why is she asking me this question when I'm sharing my Zen, my peace? I don't get it. And yet I hear nothing in the room but pin drop silence. And judging by my teacher's face, I can see that she's not going anywhere until I answer this question. All right, she was just laid back, chilled out, waiting for me. So I say, trying to escape again one more time, one last attempt at escaping this question, okay? So I say, do you really want me to answer that? Like now? You know, there are other people who want to share. And she nods, absolutely peacefully and silently. She nods. And I feel my heart racing. I'm feeling a lump in my throat developing. I don't know where this lump in my throat is coming from. My mouth is dry. I'm breathing deeply. I want to run. And I want someone else to just take over the conversation. And just as I was wondering at the same time, that what's really going on? Why am I having this reaction? What am I really avoiding here? What's happening? Trisha says, what's stopping you from looking at this, Avni? And I try to look at that. What is stopping me? And I start to try to look at it as to what's really happening in that moment just before I turn on my Zen, my peace. I've got so many techniques. I'm so good at it. And as much as I was thinking, why must I even look there? What's the point? But I followed my teacher and I started looking. And I start seeing so many moments just quickly flash by in life, from big moments where I'm about to present something very important to others, to very menial moments where I don't even know why I'm feeling what I'm feeling, where I start feeling something other than peace. And I started to realize just how familiar that feeling actually feels. And yet, it's one that I'm seriously avoiding to see. And I start to get glimpses of what feels like chaos, turmoil, confusion, self-judgment, self-doubt, imposter syndrome, anxiety. And I really see this little girl that is feeling so lost and shaken. And I quickly close that door. I don't know who that was or what that is. That's not me. That cannot be me. So I told the teacher that for a split second, yes, I see some chaos and turmoil, but that doesn't last long. I'm brilliant at tapping into my deep sense of peace and purpose within me. I am clear about that. And peace is who I am now. And that's my home. And yes, I have these moments, but I also have some amazing tools and techniques that bring me to my home. So just like that. So it's really not a problem, Trisha, and I've nailed it. And everyone around me has also noticed, and thank you so much. And I've learned so much. And she says, stop, right? She just stops me right there in the middle of my sentence. And she can be very forceful. My 85-year-old teacher, if you ever meet her, you'll see some YouTube videos of her. She's amazing. And she says, Avni, what if these techniques that bring you this sense of peace, these techniques that you use when you need to, okay, what if they didn't exist? Who are you then? What are you feeling in that moment just before you turn on these techniques? What's happening for you? Where do you go? Where do you go in those fleeting moments where you're feeling X, Y, Z within you? And again, as I try to answer that, who I am without all the tools that make me feel good, I also asked myself, and I don't know what brought me to that, but I asked myself, well, in that case, who am I really without all the things that make me feel great about myself? Who am I without my degree from Imperial College that I am proud of? Who am I without my angel husband that I'm crazy about? Who am I without my 3 loving kids that bring so much joy to me every day? Who am I without my profession? Who am I without my accomplishments? My health, my wealth, and this hair. And I love my hair. And I'm a girl after all. So of course, you know, like many ladies here, we like our hair. So who am I if everything that makes me feel good doesn't exist? How do I then feel? And who am I really without it all? So I'd really like to pause here for a moment and reflect on this together with you. Who are you without all of your accomplishments? Who are you without your education, without your health? Who are you really without your family, without your friends, without your network, without your wealth and your health? Really feel that. Take a moment to be with me in that moment where I ask myself that. And please share. I mean, you can either unmute yourselves and share. Are you feeling that? Are you feeling that moment where, I'm just going to stick on my headphones here. Are you feeling that where you are without all the things that you feel good about? And if everything that you associate your identity with doesn't exist, all your accolades, everything that you're known for, how are you then feeling about yourself? Where does this question take you? And Johnny shares, I'm a nomad and a traveler.
Yeah. And others, if you have anything that you're feeling, is there a feeling that you're feeling? Is there an emotion that you feel as you consider this question? Is there something that you see? Please feel free to share or put it in the chat box. And as you're thinking about that and exploring that, a sense of nothingness, I'm an explorer. I've been living like a sannyasi for the last 4 years. Feeling is zero. So I wonder what that zero feeling is. I see myself as in nature, hiking. Wow, yeah, you see so much freedom. That's great. That's great. That's absolutely fantastic. So as there are more things coming in, feeling like a free spirit. I am free. Shunya, nothingness. Great. Let me just get some water. I am nothing. Thank you, Carol. That nothing really matters. Yes, reminds me of that song. What song is that? Nothing Really Matters? Mama. Remember that song? Ooh. Bohemian Rhapsody. Yes, absolutely. My beauty, I'm beauty. Yes, that's the one. Yes, that's the one, Gopalan. Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay. So I'll share with you what I felt in that moment. Okay. And as much as we are all different, we are also so similar. So if my headphones don't work, if anything you cannot hear, please just let me know. Okay. So in that moment, when I was in my class with my teacher, I truly imagined myself with no degree, no profession at all. Okay. No health, like poor health, no wealth, no family, not this hair, and nor my bad sense of humor, and no tools and no techniques to switch on my inner peace. And as I became present to that version of me, sorry, I just had a message about my headphones, but that's fine. It seems like it's okay. So as I became present to that version of me, and I started feeling the feelings that I feel inside. And to be quite honest, I didn't feel this beautiful freedom that some of you have shared. I didn't. Okay. I felt truly not good. Like when I say not good, I mean not good. There was no questions about how I felt. I realized that I will not be okay. And quite frankly, I saw myself falling so deep into an oblivion from where I did not see myself rising again. And of course, that scared me. That really scared me, that frightened me. And this, for me, was a moment of awakening because honestly, I never, ever thought in a million years that I would ever be sharing this or feeling it. Yeah, I just didn't expect that. I've always related myself to this positive person who'll always bounce back, who'll always see the best in everything, right? But suddenly I realized that all of my pillars of strength, you know, my husband, my life, my kids, everything around me, if that's not there, then I didn't like what I saw and what I felt. And it was this moment of awakening where I realized just how conditional is my own self-trust and my own self-peace. Just how conditional it is, and how much this for me depends on all that I have externally and all that I am externally. So I see this dark place in me, and tears start streaming down my face. And I told my teacher what I saw as I faced my worst fears in me. And in that moment, I realized that the true heart and soul of self-trust and self-peace is one that is unbreakable, unconditional, and one that no one and nothing can ever take that away. And at that moment, I knew that I have work to do to develop this, that I don't have this. But I was grateful. I was grateful to know that I don't have something, because only if you truly know that you don't have something, then you can work towards developing it with authenticity and honesty, rather than living an illusion, thinking that I'm fine, it's cool, it's fine, no problems at all, everything's fine, right? We're fine, we're okay. You know, so rather than thinking of myself that way, I just got this absolutely clear feeling about what is it that I need to work on and what is it that I need to develop within myself. And so my journey of awareness in this began on that day. And at this juncture, my teacher congratulated me, of course, finally. And she says, Avni, I am so proud of you. And for all the students here who have the courage to go to a place that you, for example, have worked so hard to avoid. And now you can finally feel and heal what you truly need to, so that you can experience real peace and real trust, one that has no conditions, one that you do not have to flick a switch or work to achieve. If you really have real peace, you do not need to try to get to it. You don't need any techniques to get to peace. It's already always there. It is just who you are already. So I'd like you all to consider, how conditional is your trust for yourself at this moment? Where are you at with it? You all know that you trust yourself, right? But as long as, are there any conditions to this? That I trust myself as long as ... As long as I deliver this well, as long as I'm successful here, as long as I have this, as long as I have that. How many of these dots do you have? And you don't have to write this, but you're welcome to if you want to. You can share this. But really, just consider how conditional is this thing called trust within us. You know, and how many dots do we put at the end of I trust myself, if and when? So how can we really develop unconditional trust for ourselves? Where do we begin? What's the journey that I took? So now that I could really see so clearly that true self-trust is like this beautiful diamond that is so strong, so unbreakable, so unconditional, that's so whole and complete, that needs no one and nothing to acknowledge its identity. It's something that we have within us, all of us. That is the place that I call home, where we can find our peace. So coming back to how we can develop this unconditional trust for ourselves, I actually have a very simple acronym. Yeah, it's called SEE, S-E-E. So I'd like to share my PowerPoint with you. Okay, so let me, guys, am I the admin at the moment? I should be able to share, right? Yeah, okay, fine. One moment, please. One second. I mean, I don't need the PowerPoint at all, but for those who are visual, it is helpful. So let me see all the windows. Yes, I can see it. It's right there. Okay. Okay, so I'll skip past these slides. Okay, so this is the start, but I didn't want to use it because I don't feel like I needed it. And this is the things that I was talking about. If I lose all of my family, this is my family actually, my 3 kids, my husband, myself, during Holi, festival of color. So coming back to this, our 3 clear steps of how do we really develop this unconditional trust within ourselves. Okay, I'd like to share this. So the first S is for stories. The first step is seeing all the stories we tell ourselves about trust and rewriting our script within our stories if necessary. Because many of us hold on to the idea that trust must be conditional, or that is simply just the nature of trust. But what happens if all of us can truly develop this sense of inner unconditional trust within ourselves? Imagine this unconditional trust. It never goes anywhere. It doesn't shake, no matter what happens to you in life, no matter what you gain, and no matter what you lose. You trust that you will be just fine. You will feel okay, no matter what happens to you. Just imagine that. Imagine what would that do to you if you had that? And perhaps some of you already have that. Okay, some maybe already have that, but I certainly didn't. And so when I went on a journey, and I'll share that journey with you. So imagine what would that do for you? And what would that do for your trust with others and the world around you? If you have unconditional trust, then you do not even have to worry about who breaks your trust ever again. Just think about that. Because even if someone else breaks that crystal that 2 people are holding together, it actually doesn't matter, because you're going to be fine no matter what somebody else does, no matter what they take away from you, no matter what they don't add to you, no matter what thoughts, feelings, behaviors other people display in life. It matters not. Because you know that you're fine. Yes, you care, but there is that detachment. So just imagine that. And the next one I'd like to share is explore. Yeah? E for explore. So the next step is really to explore very truly and authentically, as much as is possible, with that raw honesty. What are some of your strengths? So first of all, to explore, where are you today with this concept of unconditional trust, where it just doesn't matter what happens externally to you, because internally you are the same. So where are you in that? I mean, you can use a scale of 1 to 10, right? 1 being you're barely thinking about it. You're just considering the idea of this. And 10 being you're there and you've been there for a while. Yeah. So just ask yourself with that raw honesty, where are you with that? And what are some of the strengths and challenges that you see for yourself in this, in developing that unconditional trust? What are some of the strengths and challenges? And for some of us, those challenges may relate us back to the stories we tell ourselves. Because most of the time, some of the challenges like we have in our life are because of the inner narratives, our stories, our perspectives about it, our relationship to trust, our relationship to everything around us. So again, it comes back to those stories that we tell ourselves and coming back to keep exploring. So kind of doing a loop, stories and explore. Explore what you need to challenge within yourself. So what really needs to happen for you to overcome your own challenges with this? What do you imagine as some of the things that are in the way for you to overcome your challenges to develop this unconditional trust in yourself? So for me, some of the challenges, during my exploratory phase, what became extremely clear to me and with my teacher's support is that I need to embrace all parts of me. I thought I had done so much processing and healing in this journey. And yet I realized, and I did have my instinctive feelings about it, but I realized that there was some parts of me that I had just locked away in a vault that I was never prepared to open. You know, it's not something that I didn't want to open. I wanted to, I tried to, but it just wasn't. And suddenly in this last module 6, okay, things just happened. Yeah, things just started unraveling, things just started opening up. And I started feeling after this moment, the moment that I was always avoiding. It's like if we try and avoid one thing, then we avoid a lot, actually. If there is a moment in our life that we're avoiding, if there is something that we're not prepared to see, it actually says a lot. There is a lot behind the scenes. So I basically, once I looked at it once, and once I went inside it, I opened that door, I saw a lot. I felt a lot. And quite frankly, you know, I felt like a floodgate of emotions that opened up that I had buried, not intentionally, but I buried probably to cope. And they started coming out. And so I realized that I need to embrace and some people don't like the word heal, but I'll use the word process unprocessed emotions. Okay, so I needed to embrace and process all parts of me, including my open wounds that I didn't trust myself to take care of before, including all that I am and all that I'm not, including my failures, my childhood shame, rejection, pain that I was not prepared to face, including every mistake that I've made, including who I am without my husband, without my kids, without my health, wealth, profession, and all the shadows and light. So embracing all parts of me fully and wholesomely. So that for me was my exploration. And I've been continually working on that journey. And the last E that we have here is evolve, which is that, you know, next is really to evolve this further and continue to do so. So I am at that place of exploring stroke evolving, more towards evolving, because I've done a lot of exploring over the last 2 years. This thing has opened up, I can now see. And my teacher, I mean, I don't know if that makes sense, but my teacher said, Avni, this is the last, this is the finale for you. If you can deal with this, and you will, because you finally opened it up and you've dealt with many other things before, then I don't see that there is anything else that's left, because I knew that I had kept this locked away. So, sorry, I didn't mean to go forward. So the last one is to evolve, where we really are looking at how do we really take this further? What, now that we see what is it that we need to address, and I see that for myself, and you know, I invite you all to see this as well. Take your time though, it's not going to happen today, but see, and then evolve and take it further as to what are you going to do about that? Okay, my mouse is brand new and I don't know how to use this clearly. I keep going forward with this new mouse that keeps jumping. So yeah, basically, you know, see what you want to do next. What will you do differently after this? And what's your first step? What might you want to do? Maybe you want to do a coaching session with one of your colleagues or your peers on this. And so today I've really just begun my journey and, you know, in this, and I'm really deeply grateful to feel the true depth and possibility of starting to develop this unconditional self-trust and peace within me. And I feel like I'm closer and closer to my home because I finally stopped pretending that everything's okay, and finally stopped pretending or being ashamed of what I experienced in my past and what I feel in my present. And I finally started relating to who I truly am. Because I am not my trauma. I'm not my degree. I'm not my profession. I'm not all that I had identified myself with. I'm more than all of that put together. I am my past, I am my present, and I am my future. The good, bad, and the ugly, as they say. Right? And I truly honor and embrace all parts of me. And embracing this for me is self-trust, because I know I can do it. I finally reached my bottom and I know I'm okay and I can only go further. Right? And I'm really enjoying the journey. So thank you for being here with me. You are the first people in my life that I've ever shared this journey with. Like, I've shared it with my friends over lunches and dinners. This is the first time I'm actually sharing this publicly with people. So thank you for being a part of this conversation and this journey with me. Very grateful to you guys.
Thank you. It was powerful, and as they say, so what comes from the heart goes to the heart. So I think all of us, so you created a wonderful space for us, all of us, to get really connected and really to share these wonderful feelings with you. It was powerful. So that's exactly what I said in the beginning of this webinar. That's exactly what was my expectation, depth, wisdom, and connection. It was was there. So let's open up to the questions, interactions, comments. So I think that there is a lot to say. If you'd like to share your own thoughts, your own experiences, if you'd like to really comment on the impact of what Avni just shared with us. So go ahead, the floor is yours.
Thank you, guys, and look forward to hearing from everyone. And also, I just wanted to bring up this QR code. You know, if there is any comments that you want to make, you know, this QR code will take you to our LinkedIn post of Excellentia, and just share what you like to share there about where you are, how the conversation was for you. Love to hear your feedback there. And I think Carol can put that in the chat box as well.
Wonderful. So any question, go ahead. If you'd like to interact with Avni, this is the right time to do it. Go ahead. And just I remind you of the conclusion: unconditional trust. just jump in and words will come.
Thank you, Avni. I think in the beginning I wasn't sure where are we going to, and it was such a beautiful, I don't want to say story, but journey, and how you explained it to me. And when you ask what we are feeling, it was almost as if like water was thrown on me and I had this lump in my throat. And I was like, what just happened now? It was really so powerful and so beautiful. So thank you so much. How courageous that is to do this and share this, and just the evidence of feelings. Everything's about our feelings. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Angela. Really grateful. Thank you.
We have a question on the chat box. So Sonia, welcome Sonia. She's asking, so what's the difference you make between acceptance and unconditional trust?
Yeah, so I mean, they are two sides of the same coin. They're very, very highly interrelated. We often, I don't know if you noticed this, Sonia, about you, but I will relate to myself about this, that I'm hearing echoes. Are you? Did you hear echoes? Yeah, Gopalan is nodding, so maybe it's my headphone.
Can you hear me okay better now?
Perfect, yeah.
Okay, no more echoes, okay. So acceptance and unconditional trust, what are your thoughts on this? I mean, I think they're very similar, highly related, but I think we accept parts of ourselves, and very often, many of us deny parts of ourselves. We wish there are some things about us didn't exist or were slightly different. And there is, I don't know, no matter how much people accept themselves, I don't know about you, but I sense self-judgment. I sense that I judge myself. Okay, so I don't know about all of you. And I've just had my 4-year-old enter the room. So yeah, I think acceptance and self-trust, I think coming to a place of no judgment, coming to a place of full acceptance where we do not judge ourselves, essentially, eventually leads us to that unconditional trust where, you know, where it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what anyone thinks of ourselves or us, yeah, which is what gave me the strength and the courage to share this here, because I have taken some parts of that journey, and I would have never, you know, been so vulnerable. I would have never felt so comfortable. You know, but now I feel like I'm in a place where nothing and no one can really, I am who I am, you know, the good, bad, and the ugly. And this is who I am, you know, and we are all work in progress. You know, there's never an end to it. You know, so Milan is here. Milan, do you want to join my friends here? No, sorry. Everybody can hear you, Milan. They can hear you playing with your Lego. He's got a Lego Superman with him.
So I may add something. So it's
please, yeah.
It's just a ladder. So, and you can start with self-acceptance and move on to the unconditional trust. So I'd like you to ask you a really challenging question. So I know words are just words, and it's just a recipient, and it's up to us to fill that recipient with our own thoughts. And maybe we use the same concept differently. So I may have my own definition and you may have yours. And I'd like to hear from you on this. So what difference you make between this, when I say I trust myself and I believe in myself?
I trust myself and I believe in myself. I think everyone has a different definition of this, but I sense some difference in the feeling that I feel when you say this to me. I believe in myself means that I have this self-belief that I can do X, Y, Z, right? That believe in myself for me relates to something that I can do. That's how I define it, that I believe that anything that I put my mind to, I can do it. And that is one of the beliefs that I have. I feel like that anything that I ever want to accomplish, I will do it, right? So that for me is belief. But trust is different for me. For me, that deep self-trust means that even if I cannot do something, it's okay. Even if my ability to be able to do anything that I want to do somehow mysteriously gets taken away, I will be okay. For me, that's the thing. For me, trust is like, I'll be okay no matter what. I trust myself that I'll be okay no matter what. For me, it's that. And belief is more about what I can do. I don't know, how does that resonate with you, Kais? What do you think?
So I know, so I may share my thoughts quickly on that. So for me, so and this is my own definition, may vary from one person to another. So trust for me is grounded on something. So if I'm really starting a business, so if I'm doing that because I trust I can do it, and my trust is grounded on something. So it's really, for me, it's my own perception, it's conditioned. But belief is really absolute. So I believe in myself, so I don't know how it will be, how it is going to move on. But I'm armed with faith. I'm just stepping out of my comfort zone, and I'm armed with that. And I just really, I have that really confidence that I'll do it, whatever happens. So I don't know how, but just I have something inside telling me that I'll do it. In short, so I don't know. So trust is coming from here. So it's something, when I think about something, I process. It's a dynamic concept. It's grounded on something. So, but faith, it's not coming from our brain. This is my thought. Faith and belief is coming from the soul. So it's something. Something else. So I think, Avni, so the last word before we let you go. So the topic of this webinar is the heart and soul of trust. So in one word, so what's your conclusion? What's that thing of the heart and soul of trust? So if you can sum it up in one word, what would it be?
One word, maybe one sentence quickly, which is, I think self-trust and self-peace are just two sides of the same coin. When we've nailed one, we've nailed the other. And it's a journey. And you know, everyone's got different definitions of everything. I simply just shared my definition, you know. More, rather than definition, it's more a journey. And then I tried to share that journey in respect of your, you know, the self-trust or trust conversation. But yeah, it's more the journey.
And I like very much the energy, and I like the connection, and I like the space you created for all of us. And that's exactly what this space is meant to be. It's not just about the knowledge, it's about something deeper. And thank you very much for
Thank you very much, Kais. Thank you, everyone.
So with that, so we come to the end of our first webinar. If you would like help me in really acknowledging and really commending Avni for this wonderful webinar. All together we applaud Avni. It was great.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much
for this. And we move on to, with your permission, so we move on to the second webinar, and it will be moderated by Avni. Avni, the floor